for some of us. And I could not have brought on a better guest to talk about it. I'm here with Bridget Brady. Bridget, you're the founder and CEO of Amp Up My Biz. You're an enlightened entrepreneur. You're a #1 international bestseller. You're definitely a social media authority, and you definitely have passion about helping other business owners catapult their success with online marketing and social media. So my first question for you, Bridget, is why are so many of us struggling with social media?
Oh, so good. Okay, so first, Jess, thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here and talk to you and your audience. So, why are so many of us struggling? Here's why. Because the vast majority of business owners are doing spaghetti versus strategy. So most business owners, I'm going to tell you, this is how most business owners are doing their social today. And I know this because I've had truly like the great honor of working with thousands of business owners over the last, 8, 10 years. So I know that this is how most business owners do their social. They're like, okay, I heard reels are hot. I'm going to do reels. And then I heard I should do memes, and I heard I should post something personal. So here's something about my dog, and then maybe my kids, and then I guess this podcast, and something about my products and services. So they throw a bunch of stuff up on the wall, and then they pray to the social media gods. They're like, dear gods of social media, please, oh, please, let something that I just threw up on my social media bring me business today. Okay. This is the #1 mistake when I meet with new business owners, whether they're clients or students or colleagues. One of the first questions I ask is, what's your overall social media strategy right now? And 9.3 times, 9.5 times out of 10, their answer is like, well, right? Like that's their answer. So I would say that's it. That number one, hands down, business owners are not giving social media the respect that it deserves. They're not treating it like the $1 million asset that it is. They're throwing a bunch of stuff up on the wall and praying that somehow that's going to turn into business for them.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. Okay, so what should we be doing instead?
Oh, so good. Okay, so this is in the real world, this is like a 4-hour answer, right? But I'll give you the non 4-hour answer. So #1 is start with the end in mind. So instead of following the current trend of the day, right? Like what did so and so say I should be posting? Really sit down and figure out, what is your business goal? What is your revenue goal? What is your lead generation goal? Like, what are you really trying to accomplish? That's like step #1. And then it's about putting together a strategy that essentially leads people down a path from, I have really almost no idea who you are and what you do, and building, some people call it the invisible bridge, right? Building that bridge of adding so much value to your audience, of thinking about specifically your audience, specifically your ICA, your ideal client avatar, and thinking about, what do they truly need? What do they need? What do they want? What brings them value? And then like systematically, strategically building that bridge, leading them down a path of value, 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 value. I always say, like, give it away, give it away, give it away now, right? Like pure value, until they're almost so filled up with like no love and trust and value, that by time you then now think about yourself again, by time you get to like, okay, this is my lead gen goal for my social, right? Or this is my sales goal, or this is my whatever it is goal. By time you get to that point where you're like, okay, now I'm going to ask them for something, the ask feels like a gift. And that's the secret. That's the secret in the sauce is you give so much value that by the time you ask them for something, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I've been waiting. I'm
Mhm.
dying to come to your class. I want to buy your book. I want to buy your products. I want to invest in your services." Like I've been waiting, like internally, subconsciously, I've been waiting for this moment to work with you.
Yeah.
Again, there's more, and then there's 4 more hours of answer to
Right.
that.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay, so value. So when I think about value and what I need and what I actually watch, I watch edutainment
Hmm.
or just cute puppies and clickbait. Like I want clickbait that delivers. I don't want to be sold.
Right.
How do we create content where we're not really selling and it's valuable, but it ultimately leads to sales?
Yeah. So you said something about edutainment, which I love. So there is, there's something to be said about bringing your content to your ICA in such a way that it still feels engaging and entertaining. Because I'm gonna tell you what, nobody but nobody is gonna be on social no matter how much they need it. Are they gonna go and like, be like, oh, there's a white paper on this subject. I'm gonna click to download this 48-page white paper on the subject I'm interested in. Like, no one's doing that. So I think that the part of the secret is, again, always like reverse engineering a little bit. So part of the secret is put put your focus really specifically on your ideal client avatar. And then again, like really, really, really think about what they need, not what you want to give them, not what you need, right? Not like, oh, well, if I talk about this thing, then they're going to want to buy my thing. No, no, no. Think about like what they actually need. And then I think there's a piece of the puzzle that is leaning into authenticity, leaning in to who you are as a business owner, as a human, that attracts the right person to your content. So it's not dry and it's not boring and you're super engaging and you're really sharing and you really have them in mind. People are attracted to that. People are interested in that.
Yeah. So what if you're doing that? You're focused on value, you're posting authentically and consistently, but you're new and there's other brands that are good at posting about value too. How do you differentiate yourself in such a noisy world, such a noisy internet?
Hmm. So, a couple things I would say about that. 3 things actually. One, I would look to your funnel. So here's what social media is great at. Social media is fantastic. It's the best force multiplier on the planet. There are currently, I feel like this number goes up every day. I think it's 4.3 today. There are 4.3 billion people active on social media, right? So where else do you get a potential audience of 4.3 billion people? Nowhere is the answer to that question. So there's a couple differentiation things here. One is look to your funnel, look to your client journey. What social media is great at is bringing people to the door and a little bit of opening the door, right? But really, it is your funnel and your nurture systems and your lead generation that truly like opens the door, welcomes them in, hands them a cocktail, gives them a cookie, right? Like that is where the relationship continues behind the scenes. Now, they're still following you and they're still watching you and they're still getting content, but one of the mistakes is I'm doing all this social media and nothing's happening. So one is look to your funnel. Two is 75-25 rule. So most business owners are doing too much of one or the other. So to your point, Jess, when you said like, what if I'm posting all this content and I'm giving all this value, right? So about 75 to 90% of your content, when you're actually planning your content, can be and should be, I don't like shitting on ourselves, but should be value add, just giving value, being authentic, lifestyle, behind the scenes, all those things. 10 to 25% of your content should be buy my stuff. Come to my webinar, come to my join, get my freebie, come to my summit, buy my book. And I feel like this is a tried and true formula that, again, we've used for many, many, many students and clients. When you veer too far off that formula, the 75-25 rule, that you'll see results start to diminish, right? That seems to be like the secret in the sauce is around 75-25. So yeah, look to your funnel, 75-25 rule. And third, no one is as you as you. No one is as you as you. So I go back to like lean in to who you truly are. When I know there's so many good questions. Can I tell one quick example?
Sure.
So when I ran some ad, like the very, very first ads that I ran, I was launching a brand new program, and some of the first ads I ran, I was extremely like behind my desk. It is who I am. I'm sitting at a desk now, but I was like extremely behind my desk, and I was like, I'd like to invite you to a free upcoming masterclass. It's going to be about this and this and this. Click to register now at the link. Right? Those were my first ads. Now here's the truth. People registered. I got I got clients and students out of that. I ran those for a little bit, and I was like, and just one day I got like a bug up my butt, and I was like, you know what? I want to do some fun ads because that's more fun for me. And I did ads where I was doing my hair and makeup, and I do ads where I was like knocking at the door, and I'm like, hey, like I did all these fun ads, and I'm shooting some more ads soon, where I'm going to throw spaghetti on a wall, like, because it's more authentically who I am. And so when I recorded those ads, my CPA, my cost per acquisition went down. More of the right people were in the room. When they got to my, whatever I was doing, whatever I'm doing at the moment, when they came, they're like, oh, I recognize this woman, right? They're like, oh, yeah, I saw her. I get who she is. So lean in, my friends, lean into who you are.
So can you be too authentic or no in your content?
I think I borrowed this from someone. This is not mine, but it's so good. You want to show your scars, not your wounds. So what I take that to mean is, can you be too authentic? No. Do I think that you can show people too far behind the curtain that's none of their dang business? Yes. Right. So I always say, like, unless this is your business, the holy trinity of social media no-nos is sex, politics, and religion. I would add to that blaming, shaming, complaining, woe is me, yada, yada, right? And so I do think that there's a place for super authentic, showing your scars. This is what I went through, right? I was broke, I built, and now look at what I've created. I think there's so much value in sharing your story and how and where your scars came from. I'm not a big fan of super in the moment, right? Like coming on and being like, my boyfriend left me. I have nothing. I haven't eaten in 3 days. I think I'm going into a deep depression. My therapist says, like, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not saying it's not true. I don't think it belongs on social media. Right? Social media lives forever. Mari Smith, who's one of the greats of all-time greats of social media, says, don't ever post anything on social that you wouldn't want to see on the front page of the New York Times. Right? So can you be too authentic? No. Can you take people too far behind the scenes into your life? I think yes. I think you can. And I think it's a mistake.
Okay. I like that. I like that answer. Okay, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know we could talk for 4 hours. I wanted to ask you what you think about the TikTokification of social media before we head out? Should we be moving into more video content? Are graphics still working? What's going on?
So the answer is yes. And so I'm not a huge fan of the TikTokification of social. And we do live in short attention span theater, right? Like this podcast is not a 90-minute podcast or show, right? This is not a 90-minute live because no one's gonna stay for 90 minutes. We live in short attention span theater. That's one. Two, social media is going more and more and more and more towards video. Today, 80% of consumed content on social media is video. 80%. And I think that's going to increase as we continue. And I like a good content mix. Don't scrap graphics. I I don't think it should be all of anything, right? A good content mix isn't all photos, all graphics, all videos, all reels, right? Just the same way as your 75/25, right? It's not all value or all buy my stuff, right? There's a nice mix. So the answer is yes, video is becoming more and more pervasive. I think it will continue to become more and more pervasive. This interview is a great example. More and more people are doing their quote unquote podcasts as video content now. And don't throw away your graphic templates. don't throw them away yet. It is a great mix of content that, gives your audience a much larger sense of who you are, what you believe in, who you serve, and how they can work with you.
And then it's more holistic, just like us.
Just like us. Oh, I love that you said the word holistic. Okay, I'm going to say this really quick because I love that so much. And this is the other really big thing that I feel like people miss in their social. Social media is holistic. And what I mean by that is there is no one piece of the puzzle that is the magic bullet, right? It's not just followers, just engagement, just content, just reels, just videos, just ads. It's not just funnels, it's not just any of those things. It's all of those things. And that is also like that the magic bullet, the magic is when all of those things are working in harmony like that, then then you start waking up every day saying, "Oh, I have new money in my bank account. I have new leads in my funnel. I have new followers. I have new engagers. How did that happen? Oh, it happened because you created a strategy that allowed that to happen." So holistic, I love that word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that sounds good. Waking up with all of that.
All that every day.
Okay. Well, I'll be joining your free masterclass. It's called 5 Insider Secrets to Creating Massive Success on Social Media. Bridget, can you talk a little bit about this for my audience?
I can. So it's a 90-minute masterclass. It is free. It is chock full of value. And essentially, we're breaking down the strategies that work. It's exactly what we were talking about, like strategy versus spaghetti. So it's a 90-minute breakdown of what's working today, what's not working today. We dive deeper into the 75/25 rule, and I show you really specific examples of what that looks like in practice. It's easy to say like 75/25. What? Like, what does that mean? So we really break that down, and I give you other tips for followers, engagement, and again, like with the end in mind. What do you want to accomplish? And then what's the road to get there?
Awesome. So anyone else who likes Bridget's authentic vibe, check it out. The link is below, and it'll be in all the descriptions below our videos on social media. Bridget, thank you so much. I've been waiting for this day for months. I know we booked this so long ago, but it was so nice to finally have you. And hopefully we have that 4-hour conversation down the road.
Very soon. Jess, it was a pleasure, and I will talk to you soon.